Unlike bows, there are a ton of auto rifles in the game that we can use, but what are the best auto rifles to use for Witch Queen and why should we bother getting some of them? Well, as you may know, next season we're getting the Overload auto rifle mod, which means we can't stop them without using either an auto rifle, an SMG, or an exotic with a built-in perk or a specific seasonal subclass mod. So guys, in this video we're going to go over 7 auto rifles that you should consider getting or having ready for Destiny 2 Witch Queen and Season 16. But as always, before we start, this video is sponsored by my guys over at Aware. They sell cheap Destiny Silver for a really good offer, and you can use my code DIVIDE for a further discount. If you find this video useful or disappointing, then be sure to like or dislike and leave a comment with some feedback, as it really does help me improve on future videos. Now jumping into our very first auto rifle, we have the Chroma Rush. This is a 720 RPM auto rifle in the Connect slot. It's actually one of the best auto rifles in the game, but it's locked behind Season of the Splicer, so you will need to do some override runs to get it, or from focused Season of the Splicer Umbral Engrams. Chroma Rush is good for both PvE and PvP. It has really good stability and perks for both, as you got things like Heating Up and Dynamic Sway, which are amazing for autos, especially in PvP, because you'll have literally no recoil whatsoever. But then you've also got good PvE rules like Subsistence and Rampage. Now this isn't a god rule video, so if you want to know what the best rules are for this, then I'll leave a link down below or a card within the card section of the video. So this is the first auto rifle on the list, and I strongly recommend having one ready for next season for your GM runs. The second auto on the list is the Knowing Hunger. This one comes from the world loot pool, so you'll be able to find it from any legendary Engram or from Gunsmith at the tower. Now this one is a 600 rounds per minute auto in the energy slot that deals void damage. And again, it's one of the best auto rifles in the game for endgame PvE, but it's also pretty powerful in PvP if you have the right perks. This would pair well with things like a Witherhoard or Sniper in your Kinetic slot when it comes to PvE, so I strongly recommend getting yourself one if you haven't got it already. Next up we have the Scavelock, the second most used auto rifle in the game below Chroma Rush, that sits in the Kinetic slot. It's a good alternative to Chroma Rush if you don't own Season of the Splicer, to currently obtain that one. As with the Scavelock, you can get it from any legendary world drop, and I believe Gunsmith himself can sell it to you. This one has quite a few good perks for PvE like Subsistence and Rampage again, so definitely worth keeping hold of one. If I had to choose between this and Chroma Rush, it would be Chroma Rush though. Moving on to our fourth auto, we have the Last Breath. Now like the Scavelock, it's another 600 auto in the Connect slot, which you can get from the free Prophecy dungeon. So again, like Chroma Rush if you haven't got it, these two autos are great replacements as a free to play player. Moving down the list, we have Shadow Price. Now this is a 450 RPM auto, so it's not perfect when it comes to PvE, but it's still an option for those needing an arc energy auto rifle for any reason. It's got really good range, but for me it lacks the right PvE rules, especially for it being a 450, but I'd keep hold of one because 450 autos could get a buff in the future, you really never know. You can get this weapon from the Nightfall when it's on rotation, and it'll be in the Nightfall as a possible reward drop from the 8th to the 15th of February. Next up though, we have the 7th SERAPH Carbine. This one is another 450 RPM auto, but this time it's in the Connect slot, and it can be obtained from Gunsmith at the tower. It's not my personal favourite, as again, it's a 450, so it just feels a little too weak for me, but it does allow you to spawn Warmind cells. Now don't get me wrong, yes, Warmind cells aren't meta right now, but on the possible chance we get new Warmind mods or buffs, then this auto will definitely be a perfect choice for the new Warmind builds next season, as it will be able to generate those Warmind cells, in addition to stopping those Overload champions. Definitely keep hold of this one. Now the last auto on the list is the Summoner. Now I believe you can still get this one from trials, which can be annoying if you're not a PvP player, but Xur can also sell it, so keep checking his inventory every Friday to see if he has one available or not. The Summoner is a 600 RPM solar energy auto rifle with stupidly high handling, and it's amazing in PvP but also pretty good in PvE. It's more of a mixed auto, so it's pretty balanced in both activity types. Now I know I've not mentioned a few other good autos like Arctic Haze, Zoro's Verse and all those. They're not bad and they are other options to use as well, but when it comes down to your number one for the kinetic and energy, it'll be Chroma Rush and Gnawing Hunger. My only issue with a lot of these auto rifles are that to me, nothing will really compete against Gnawing Hunger in the energy slot and Chroma Rush in the kinetic. So if you're able to, I'll try and find your perfect draw for Chroma Rush and Gnawing Hunger more than anything for next season, but if you don't have access to Chroma Rush, then try and get yourself a Scavelock instead. Now if it's not auto rifles you're after, then your only other option to stop in overloads are SMGs. Stay tuned for that next video, but if you haven't seen my anti-barrier weapons to have for Season 16, you can see that on screen also. I've been Divide, and I'll see you over there next. Peace out.